how often should I get my windows cleaned? And honestly, the answer that I give, it pains me in my heart. In the UK, how many times a year do you think they get their windows cleaned? Once a month. That's right. My American friends have mini heart attacks once a month. Yes, once a month. They get their windows cleaned once a month. The window cleaning culture in the UK is vastly different from the window cleaning culture in America. So if you are watching this and you are American and you're wondering how on earth are they getting the windows cleaned once a month? Well, in the UK they are not paying $200 or $300 a month. They're also not getting the insides and the outsides cleaned once a month. So in the UK they're probably looking at around, on average,
£25.
At least in the area that I was in, maybe $15, $20, $25 a month. That's on average. There are no screens to clean, just pretty much the frame and the glass and the sill. That's what's being cleaned. In America though, how often do they get the windows cleaned? If you are good, if you are a good homeowner that is looking after your glass, you're probably getting the outsides cleaned twice a year. You're getting the insides cleaned once a year. One time a year someone comes, they clean the inside and the outside, and then 6 months later they come back and they clean just the outsides. That's the American culture when it comes to window cleaning. For those in the UK that are listening about how the Americans get their windows cleaned, they might be thinking, what on earth? They only get their windows cleaned twice a year. How filthy are their windows? I promise you, they are bad. Windows in America are not great. And in fact, I've come across many that haven't even had their windows cleaned in the last 2 or 3 years. Which is why there is such a huge difference when they get their windows cleaned and they literally say the house is brightened considerably. When you think about how much dirt has built up over even just 1 year. But if you're American and you're watching this, I live in Florida, I live in Ocala. How often should you get your windows cleaned? So now you can understand why it pains me to say what I'm about to say. That typically, like I said, most people get the outsides cleaned every 6 months. It's gonna come down to what you value. See, do you have every 6 months $200 to spend? You might see your windows get cleaned once and realize just what a difference it makes to how you feel. Because until you experience going from super dirty windows to super clean windows, until you experience that, you don't know how it feels to finally look out your window and it almost seems like there is no glass there. It's incredible. It really is. So you may find that actually, yeah, twice a year, that seems reasonable. I do have some customers that go for every 3 months or go for every 4 months. So they're now spending $800 a year in getting their windows cleaned. That may seem a little bit unreasonable. So of course you have to weigh it all up yourself of how often you should get your windows cleaned. But it really does come down to you and what you value and also what you're able to afford. Personally, what I would say is the more often you can get your windows cleaned, the lower the chance is that your windows will experience irreversible damage. Let me explain. Certain types of dirt are going to be doing damage to that glass. So you may notice on some of your windows that there are white spots all over the place. And I'll put a picture on the screen or a video just so you know what I'm talking about. Those white spots are hard water stains. They are caused by typically sprinklers spraying water onto the window. And hard water is water that has a high concentration of minerals. So lime, calcium, magnesium, iron, those sorts of things. And those minerals will sit onto the glass and that's what causes those white spots. That's minerals. After a while, those minerals start to etch into the glass. They'll start to eat away at the glass. And when that happens, it becomes a permanent stain. It's permanently damaged the window. So there's nothing you can really do. You might be able to minimize it. I'll show on the screen an extreme example of hard water stains. You see all those white spots? That's hard water stains. So I was able to scrub it out, and here's the after picture. Here's what it looks like afterwards. Looks a whole lot better, right? Looks a whole lot better. I'm going to zoom in on this picture, and you're still going to be able to see white spots. That's because those mineral deposits have etched into the glass and they've caused permanent damage. You can't do anything about that. There's nothing you can do at that stage. But you might be thinking to yourself, how can you prevent hard water stains? Get your windows cleaned, at least the outsides, at least twice a year. How quickly can hard water permanently damage my glass? So I've had some customers who have recently had their windows replaced. And when I say recently, we're talking maybe 2 years old. And I have had to sadly inform them that their windows have hard water stains. That's because within those 2 years, they have not had their windows cleaned. And yet they have just spent $10,000 to replace all the windows. And now some of them have hard water stains that have permanently damaged. You may be surprised by that, but when you bear in mind, if a sprinkler is constantly hitting every day a certain window and nothing's being done about it, and then especially if you've got the sun beating down onto those minerals, onto that glass, it is helping those minerals to etch into the glass, causing damage. So even if you have relatively new windows, you are not exempt from getting hard water stains. Again, the more often you can get them cleaned, you are going to be taking those minerals off the glass before they even have a chance to cause any damage. So that question, how often should you get your windows cleaned? Get them cleaned, the outsides, at least twice a year. If you can push it to 3 times a year every 4 months, amazing. If you can do it every 3 months, so 4 times a year, fantastic.